Well, what's going on, Entourage? Check this out. First of all, I know there's probably a little echo in here. I am in my office at home where there is huge ceilings. And the reason I'm at home is because my toddlers had to come to work with me today because they're out of school. Well, they're not toddlers anymore, but they acted like toddlers today. And so I came home a little early because the office was losing their mind. Travis and Pat and everybody there was losing their mind because Jax and Asher are throwing shit everywhere. So normally I would be in the office, but tonight I am in the library. So anyway, this is our last Entourage night school of 2017. So that's pretty exciting. Some of you have been around for every single one of them since this time last year, because this program is 1 year and 4 days old now. And we've had over 1,000 members come through in 2017. Our goal is for 2,000 active members in 2018. So if you know somebody who should be a part of our crew back here, if you know somebody who should be a part of the movement, something bigger than me, and introduce them so that they can make things happen and get in here. And plus, if you sign up to be an affiliate by going to hardcoreaffiliates.com, then when you refer people to Entourage, we'll give you a $200 affiliate fee. Boom, just $200 right in your hand, just for being cool and trying to help somebody change their life. On top of that, this being the last one, I just put the finishing touches on the BFA monthly, the last one for the year. So it'll actually be January's, and pretty excited about that. Most of you should have got your, check this out, wait for it. Most of you should have got your December issue where I talk about me being a big chicken shit and not jumping off the side of that mountain with everybody. But check this out. Those of you that have been around for a year, this is what I'm talking about right here. Got the t-shirt with the, dude, this is better than the BFA live t-shirts. This guy, dude, first of all, they sent me like a double X, and I'm like, look, I know I got the guns, but I'm not double X guns. I'm actually not that size, but I'm working on getting another one. But for those of you that have been around for a year and you finally got your t-shirt, that's awesome. I'm like, thank you for hanging out with us. And we're just going to continue to give you more and more cool stuff as time goes on. And one of those cool things is Motivational Monday. In my career, having this group, The Tribe, for almost 5 years now, my co-host tonight has been a part of that for about 3 years. And for almost 5 years now, I've ran this program called The Tribe. Most of you know about it. And in the Tribe, we give out hoodies and cool gifts and everything else all the time as well. And they get t-shirts like month one when they're coming into this. But I don't even think they're t-shirts, because I have them. I don't even think that they're as cool as that right there. But anyway, so we've been doing these Motivational Mondays for The Tribe for the last 5 years. We didn't count them in the beginning because I'm not that smart, right? I didn't think to count them, but we just did our 209th today. And so those are going to start, not all 209, but you'll get the live, it'll be, they stream to a link. And so every Monday you'll get a Motivational Monday, the most recent Motivational Monday as part of Entourage. So that's like one way that we're stepping this up. So that's going to be huge for you guys, because it's basically weekly coaching from me plus 2 night schools from me. Plus you got Todd helping you with the funnel chat and Pat with marketing autopsy. I mean, if that doesn't equal $300 worth of value every month or $2,500 worth of value every year, I don't know what does. We did the math. It's like $45,000 worth of stuff that you get if you annualized it for only $2,500 bucks. So this group's just going to continue to level up and continue to get better. Now, first, before I jump in and introduce, most of you know who he is anyway and knew it was coming, our ride or die co-host tonight, I want to show you something that is, let's see here, let me pull this up. It's pretty mind-boggling. And so right here, I showed this at Flying Friday, just a couple, make sure I see the right thing there. Hold on one second. Okay. Yes, that's it. So I showed this at Flying Friday a couple of weeks ago, but this is The Economist. This isn't like, some site that you can say is like, oh, fake news, CNN or something like that. This is The Economist, a non-biased, non-weird website, right? For the most part, non-political website. It says the world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. And this is proven. This isn't just like speculation. This article goes on to say why data is important. I can tell you why data is important is because mainstream corporations are starting to figure out that once you collect data and you have information on somebody, then you can advertise to them over and over and over again. And so you have to, as a person that's evolving in this marketing game, right? Because if you're going to be better than the rest, you've got to stay ahead of the rest. And as a person that's evolving in this marketing game, you have to start thinking of these leads as data. Now, let's take a look at these companies right here that look like offshore oil rigs. There's Uber, the world's largest taxi company, but doesn't own any taxis, right? It's probably the largest transportation company out there right now, and it doesn't own any semis, any cars. It's all individuals. There's Amazon, the largest retailer. It doesn't have any stores. There's Google, one of the largest data collections, right? It just exists on a server somewhere. Same thing with Facebook. Tesla, one of the fastest cars made, doesn't even take gas. Like, things are changing. And just the fact that data is worth more than oil, I think we can really thank Elon Musk a lot for that, first of all. Thank you, sir, Elon Musk. But more importantly is that once you become a data collector, then you can understand the habits and the behaviors of the people. I see social media influencers all the time. They say, well, first I'm going to build a list of people and gain the data and then figure out what to sell to them. And for years, I always thought that was a back-assward way of doing things. And now I understand what they were up to, even though I still think it's back-assward. I'll explain that here in a minute. Now, here's what I do understand. That you have to take the difference. You have to know the difference from taking a lead and creating data. Because here's like the big shocker. For those of you that own businesses, when you go to sell your business, the majority of the money that they pledge to buy your business will be based on the data, right? How much data you own. If somebody's going to buy your company, how many people are in your database? When Silicon Valley JV, venture capitalist investors and all those guys, when they invest in companies like Twitter and LinkedIn that aren't profitable, the reason why they're doing that is because they know that they're going to analyze that data and figure out what to sell them. I recently bought into a supplement company, and we have a data analyst, and that dude just digs in and figures out who's buying what, and we just run ads to him, and it sells like hotcakes. And so I share that with you because you have to think these leads that you're collecting, these are leads that give you their name, email address, and phone number. So you have some data on them. And then when you talk to them and you figure out what neighborhoods they're looking for and everything else, you have more data on them. And then when you follow up with them and you see where they're at, you have more data on them. Then when you close them and you collect all their social security and everything else, you have more data and so on and so on and so on and so on. And one day you have this huge database. And a good example of that is my friend and fellow member, Brandy Whitmire. She's been in the mortgage game for a very long time and has been very diligent about managing her database. And, she'll have months where she does double-digit mortgage production, in the double-digit million mortgage productions, because she knows how to mine that database. She's figured out that the world's most valuable resource isn't oil, it's data. And so when you collect a lead, a name, email address, and phone number, and that person's not ready to buy right then and there, just know that you paid that lead money for a little bit of data. And if you'll treat that data right, if you'll monitor it, if you'll ask it questions, if you'll gain surveillance and you'll gain data on that lead, then eventually it can turn into it. And guess what? Then you can figure out which of those leads, which pieces of data sends you referrals the most, so that you can start marketing referral campaigns to those. We're in a time where, thanks to tags and ClickFunnels and Aweber and all the things and pixels and retargeting and all the things that you can do and learn here in Break Free Academy Entourage, all those things, we live in a time where we can literally dynamically target somebody based on their behavior. It's huge, but you can't do that unless you have data. And tonight, the reason why I bring this up and I get so deep into this little data rant is tonight I'm going to show you what's possible, or rather Johnny's going to show you what's possible if you have data. Because listen, when people go to buy your business, like I said, they're going to buy the data. When I go to sell my business, they're going to be looking to see, okay, so how many blog subscribers do you have? Okay, 37,000. How many Facebook fans do you have? Okay, 200,000. Okay, 10,000 people in this database. They're looking for those numbers so that they can say, okay, the average price per customer is this, the average profit per product is this. If we just put this in for, because they can crunch those numbers because that's what they do. And so my company used to, like, the way that I thought was like, okay, as long as I'm alive, the company can run. But now I understand that there's data and there's better ways to sell to them. And I've been saying since 2011 that we're in two businesses. We're in the lead generation business and the data collecting business. And that is exactly what we do. We generate leads and we keep collecting data on those leads, even after we close them, because we can do repeat business with anybody. And after you've done business with them once, it's really easy to do business with them again. So I say all of that to say this. Let me bring myself back up here on camera. I say all that to say this. Tonight, I've asked Johnny to come and show what he calls the machine. And I wanted him to do a demonstration for you guys, because for those of you that do have databases right now, that have been in business for a long time, this is the perfect way to bring attention to your product or your services or whatever it is that you sell. The average person sees 3,800 advertisements every single day. And so you've got to have things that stick out, ways to get in front of your data. Get them, got to make sure that you're one of those 3,800 advertisements each day. And more importantly than that, you've got to be a good one of those 3,800 advertisements that they see every day. So because of that, Johnny has a program that he's called, last we talked, he called it the machine. And I used it on Black Friday, and it allowed us to make over 30,000 sales, $30,000 in sales. And it was significantly more than, I'm setting the bar low there. I can't remember. We did multiple six figures in 2 days. And I think we tracked like $30,000 or $40,000 of it. I know at least 30 of it came from Johnny's stuff directly, from us blasting our database through his mechanism. I know he's talked about other loan officers and stuff having extreme success too. And since the products worked for me and brought me so much money, I wanted to share it with you guys, and then also, put Johnny's got a badass product. I think he deserves to get some airtime and show you guys what you can do with this badass tool that he built. So Johnny, what I'd like for you to do is I'm going to unmute you now, and you just kind of tell us like a little bit about your journey building funnels and how you came across this process, and then what it does, if you don't mind. I think you're going to have to unmute yourself, actually.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I unmuted myself. All right. So first, before I start, I want to say congratulations to Mr. Stewman, top 40 under 40 in National Mortgage Professional Magazine. One of the things that I noticed, besides you being in there, I can count over 10% of the people in that magazine directly learning from you. So to me, that's a kudos like no other.
That was a cool feeling. I appreciate that. That was a pretty cool feeling to see that last night.
I like it. I like it a lot. So I've always been a data collector. Way back years ago, when I was doing trigger leads or anything else, I've always been a data collector. Data has been something that's been part of my life for the past 15 years. So with that being said, when I first met Ryan, and I guess I should say, I think I'm the longest standing tribe member that there is.
Yes, true. That is correct, sir.
Been with Ryan for probably, we've been running these funnels now for about 4 years. So I guess we were probably one of the very first ones that picked up on you and started following you.
Yeah, I think Chad was in late 2013, early 2014. So yeah, that's about right.
Makes sense. So we started with the funnels. Long story short, Chad brought the idea to us. He was running them himself, was getting a little overwhelmed with the number of leads he was getting. And it's something that I took on myself inside to run. Because of Stewman, now I've got a fucking problem. I've got too much data. And trying to keep up with that. So on any given day, we're running about 700 funnels total. We're advertising to somewhere between 80 and 100 a day to keep business going, keep it moving. We do exactly, that's one of the things I get the question all the time. How did you do this? What is it that you did? Blah, blah, blah. I followed what Stewman said to do. I just did the exact instructions. The only thing that I did that's any kind of caveat off of it is I had to come up with my own disbursement system, because with Break Free Academy, it's absolutely incredible to do it as a group if you're in one office. My problem is I'm in 40 plus offices in 40 plus states. I'm dealing with somewhere, a couple hundred real estate agents. So I have to have a delivery system. So I built that myself. So one thing that we were having an issue with is just like everybody else, most of the real estate agents don't follow up on these leads like they're supposed to. So we went a little bit farther, and we made a system internally that whenever somebody went on one of our funnel pages and filled out the information, we immediately, within 4 seconds or less, send them the WUFU form. We get the lead in, and we do it on a phone app through SMS, which is the fastest mode of transportation in the world right now. 27 seconds, we send them back a slide dial voicemail that's from the real estate agent. 29 seconds, we send them out a slide broadcast text message that's from the real estate agent. And then we continue to nurture that as it goes through. One of the things in the beginning is these leads, theoretically, were never really designed to close. The idea behind them was to give something instead of donuts and rate sheets to the agents across the country, to actually feed them, to help them, to show that I'm not just some jackass that's going to come in here and take from you and take and take. I want to give also. I want this to be a partnership. So the next thing that happened is I look at my AWeber list, and I've got 10,000 leads in there. Next month, I've got 20,000 leads in there. Next month, I've got 30,000 leads in there. So it's something that now I've got all of this data. What is it that I do with this data? Because it's extremely valuable. In our system, we make people double opt-in. So the single opt-in was great, but I got a lot of Barack Obamas and Donald Trumps and Mickey Mouses and stuff like that. So doing a double opt-in, it cut down to where I got less leads, but these leads were actually better. They were something that somebody truly was filling out the information twice, saying, I want to know more about Hot Homes of Katy. I want to know more about Hot Homes of Kingwood, whatever that is. So I'm getting a tremendous amount of data. Well, I know that for a fact that my agents don't follow up on them like they should. We all know that the final sales made somewhere between the 7th and the 12th. There's some people who argue with that. I think it's between the 7th and the 12th contact. So my next problem was, not only did I have data, but I had a ton of data. And not only did I have a ton of data, I had a ton of data in multiple states. So I had to come up with something that would talk to this data, that would continue to stay in contact with this data, and be able to have Chad Prio take care of his data, Alex Jimenez take care of his data, Greg Peckman take care of his data, things like that. So I built this machine, and what this machine does is it doesn't care, and it's ours. We own it. The only thing that's not mine is I buy phone numbers from Twilio. That way, whenever, like for Stewman, for your campaign, whenever we send out something, it'll either look like it came directly from Ryan Stewman, or it looks like it came from a local area code. That was the idea behind it. But so I don't remember what the first amounts that we started doing with yours, but I think on the first beta versions of yours, you were making about $1,000 an hour, if I remember correctly, on that. Go ahead.
Because that's all it does, is it takes getting people's attention, because your machine makes people go, oh yeah, I meant to buy that shit. And so it starts, boom, it gets their attention, and they start coming, just like with the applications, like, oh yeah, I meant to fill that shit out. There's things that we mean to do every day, but we get distracted.
No, very much so. The other thing that, you know, when you're sitting and we sat around and we talked about this, and you and I have talked about it a million times. When somebody fills out that information, they're doing it on their phone inside the doctor's office, so they can't talk right then. And that's part of the problem with the follow-up system. So what this machine does, it never gets sick. It never goes out on leave. It never takes vacation. It doesn't care what time of day it is. It doesn't care if it's a holiday. It doesn't care. So you put the data in this machine, and what it will do, on full throttle, it will send out 500 slide dial voicemails. It will send out 500 slide broadcast text messages, and it'll send out 500 emails every 2 minutes. So let that sink in for a second. So that's 500 voicemails, text messages, and emails every 2 minutes. We do that on the big things for you. You know, for you, you don't care how fast it goes out. For my loan officers, that's obviously too much. So we dial it down to about 50 voicemails, 50 broadcasts, and 50 emails every hour. You upload the data, and I'll bring the machine up if you want me to. You upload the data in the machine, and you make the campaign. It's completely up to you. And what I love about this thing is, again, it doesn't care. So you can put in the same data. We can put in 100,000 pieces of data, and you can run 3 or 4 or 5 different campaigns off of that same data to see what your better penetration is, what your better ROI is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. We do use some best practices. We found out, especially in the South, that it works better between about 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. If you run it after that, you're risking a chance of more opt-outs. We did find out that it works tremendously better. And hell, I learned this from you. I don't know why it didn't stick with me. But if it's a real message, if it doesn't look like a robot, if there's a misspelled word, or if there's it's very much a mail merge machine. Hey, it's Ryan, just reaching out to you. Give me a call when you get a chance. It'll send out that text message. It also doesn't care if it sends out video links. It doesn't care if it sends out videos. It doesn't care if it sends out Eventbrites. So here's some of the things I've used it for so far. There is a loan officer in Middle Tennessee that doesn't even work for my company. He's one of the first guys that we tried this with, and he can testify. His name's John Weaver. And John Weaver was one of the first guys to use this machine. I don't know a total of how many he's closed. I don't know a total, but I do know this. He sends me text messages and emails constantly telling me that I've made him life-changing money. I made him his quarterly bonuses that he hasn't hit in 10 years. He's been with the same company since I think 2005, and he's actually having a damn good time in the mortgage business now. I use it for Eventbrite things. So a specific state we were going to, 3 days before we were having an event, we send out to a list of about 4,000 real estate agents in Salt Lake City. We send out an Eventbrite. We ended up with 78 real estate agents showing up, and we invited them 3 days before, kind of thing. It's making the communication easy. Whatever it is that we can do to make the communication easy and fast. One of my favorite things about the machine that I love is I don't give a damn what anybody says. I've been doing this shit for a long time. It's a complete bullshit fallacy. When somebody says, I got one more no, so I'm closer to a yes, 9 no's to get, that's bullshit. Neither you nor I can take that kind of abuse, can take that. We will find an excuse to get away from the phone if somebody is saying, don't you ever fucking call me again, you dirtbag son of a bitch. So with the machine, what it does is it takes that away. It has the opt-out in the voicemail. It has the opt-out in the text message. It has the opt-out in the email. So you don't ever have to deal with that crap coming in. For somebody to call you, for somebody to text you or email you back, they actually have to put work into it. We all know that there's haters out there. Hell, I'm sure that you get them. The more successful you get, the more haters you get. But unless they take the time to find you and reach out to you, you just don't get that information. You don't get that negativity back, which is a wonderful thing. So I'll bring up the machine. Do you want me to show the machine?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So show them, you guys have done it for me because y'all are awesome. Is this something where they log into and they set it up themselves and it's pretty easy?
If they want to, but I'll tell you what we do. We go a step ahead. We actually will do it for you. We'll walk you through it. We'll do a screen share with you. Because there's a lot of people out there, if you think people have a hard time linking up lead pages with Aweber and Zapier, trying to upload data and make sure it's correct can be difficult. So we do it for you also. That's all part of what's included. Now, let me ask you a question real quick. If I bring my screen over, are you going to see it on this?
Yes.
Okay. So right now.
No, so up in the left corner of your Google Hangout, there's a little green arrow that you can click and it says screen share. When you bring up the Google Hangout actual screen and on the left, and then
arrow, screen share.
And then you can pick which screen.
All right.
There we are. Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Okay. Are you seeing it now?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So this is what it looks like. Now, one of the things that's kind of difficult about this is on a daily basis, I wake up in the morning, jump in the shower, and come up with some of the craziest freaking ideas in the world. And I come in and hand it off to my developers, and I have them make this shit. So there are things in here that may look difficult. Like, first of all, I'd almost bet nobody's ever seen the .io in the unless they're a developer. And this is what my guys wanted to call it, perma.io. But I call it the perpetual machine. And here's what you would do. So you would go in, you would sign up. You're going to fill in your information. You're going to make your own sign-up screen. Down here, this is where you're going to put in, so I know who you are. You're going to put in Ryan Stewman as your alpha code, and then you're going to sign up. All right. Yep.
You gotta love it when it's like, oh no, you gotta sign up real quick, and you're like, wait, no, I signed up.
What the hell's going on here? Give me a second.
It is. It will always find a way to baffle you when you are on your live. I know that.
You know what's bad is I just did this before. Oh, you know what? Here's my problem. Oh crap! I just shut the whole damn thing down. Give me a second.
No worries, man.
Sorry.
No worries. One thing I know about tech is it always likes to play games. You never have a problem with it, and then you go to show somebody, and it's like, you know what? We're just going to put worst case scenario out here. And it never fails, but that's that I believe what happened is when it went to sign in, it probably caught your cookies and wouldn't let you go out any other way, huh?
No, I already was signed in. I needed to log in instead, and now for some reason, we're live, I assume.
Yep. Yes, sir. It's all good.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Hey, you know what? That's why I say all this time I'm used to it, man. It's every time that I think that I've got something just completely nailed down in the tech world, it's like, well, here's this. So it pulled right back up for me though. And and it's probably, I mean, it's obviously not your technology because it's up and running for me over here. It's probably the internet in the place where you're at. So she can see over here in my, that's exactly what it was, ladies and gentlemen, was his internet. I knew it because you can see it he just dropped off of here. So just give him a second and he'll come back on here. I'm like, it's not the software. It is definitely the internet connection. So hopefully he can come back on here. This stuff's really easy. I'll start the process right here. First thing you do is just log in, and you have an account here where you log in, and then which I have no clue what mine is, because like Johnny said, he likes to do it for you, and so they set up everything.
We'll try this one more freaking time.
Oh, good. I figure it was probably your internet more than the technology anyway. That's usually the leading culprit.
Now, for some reason, it doesn't like me. Let me go back to screen share. It doesn't like me using two. All right. So can you see it now?
No, you got to hit the green arrow again.
Good. Green arrow. All right, now you can see
there
it.
We go. Yes, sir. We are good.
Right. So, sorry, here. I've got to log in because I'm already a customer. So when you get in, there's a couple things that you need to pay attention to. So I'm going to walk you through each one of these and show you what it does and how it does. What you're buying here is you're buying space, you're buying time. So the billing is pretty simple. This is how we set it up, and this is all inclusive. So that's the number of messages. So 2,000 would be 2,000 voicemails, 2,000 text messages, 2,000 emails. So you get in. It tells you what your balance is, basically. And then from here, it's got a pretty easy dashboard to see what you want to do. Everything is right here on the dashboard. I like working off of this. So when you're running your leads, you're going to upload yourself directly from your desktop or your Dropbox or whatever, and you're going to pick what CSV Excel format that you're pulling in. So these are all leads that we pulled in, and this is a campaign, like I was saying, that's run off of Alex Jimenez's system. And then what you do is you're going to submit that data. All of this you don't even have to pay attention to because it's all right here in the frequently asked questions. It will answer all of the questions for you. So when you go in, these are some of mine. So if this is directly correlated to mine, so it never loses my data. It keeps the names of my campaigns. It will run whatever campaigns that I want, and I can change the name and create a new campaign. So if I wanted to, I could load all of my data in at any time that I ever wanted. Anytime I get new data, I can update the data and keep it in here to where it never has, I don't have to reload it every single time. I don't have to find it. I don't have to look for it. Are you with me so far?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to load up your data. You come in and you're going to start loading up whatever it is. Then as you go in, you're going to create your campaign. So you're going to upload your audio. We will do this for you also, or you can do it yourself. The reason that I would say on your first couple, let us do that for you, because we edit and render your voicemail for you. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can add volume. We can take out back noise, anything like that. And it comes out a lot cleaner, a lot smoother. If you want us to do that, this would be the phone number you call in. It's a digital phone line, and you leave the message. Now, before you do any of this, before you sign up, I highly recommend reaching out to my little mad scientist, Warren. He will send you copies of campaigns, things that people have used for the email, things that people have used for the text message, and even some of the recordings that people use that are very effective. It depends on what you're going to run the campaign for, is what the voicemail. And I would put money on it that people on this live show right now probably got a message from Ryan Stewman at some point in time that actually sounded and felt like it was calling from Ryan. You were probably pissed at yourself because I missed Stewman's call. But Warren will send you that information. You're going to record the voice message here once you do it. If you want to do your own, then you would just say, let's say, refi campaign. And that's what the audio message is going to be called. You can upload it yourself right here. And then bring it into the system. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add a campaign. What is it that this campaign is going to do for you? So are you going to run this, like here, I'll give you a prime example. I've built up a data list. I've got about 1.3 million real estate agents in the country in my data list. So I may run this campaign and call it Tennessee Real Estate Agents Christmas, Merry Christmas. And in that, this is going to be, I put in what the content is, what I want in my email, what I want in my, is the phone number to look like. Do I want it to look like an 800 number? Do I want it to look like my cell phone? Do I want it to look like a local number? What is that? I'm going to enter the campaign email body. Anyway, you can read all this and go through. And it does everything. Keeps you legal. There's your NMLS, whatever phone number, whatever signature, any of that. So it looks like it truly came from you. And then if you do end up getting that one jackass that doesn't want to talk to you, you can do your opt-out yourself. So if you never want to hear from me again, you can go in here and you can put in my email, my name, my phone number, and you'll never get another message from me again. It has a system for support tickets. So if you want to do this and try this at night and you don't know what it is, and you can go in and say, not sure how to upload my data, it's not in CSV or something like that, then we'll get right back with you and answer that for you. Like I said, it's got the frequently asked questions. Why won't my leads upload? How many leads can I upload? Can I export my leads? All of these questions right here to help you out. But again, if you don't know, if you don't want to do this on your own, it's very, very simple. Just get a hold of us and we'll do it for you. As far as I'm concerned, and Stewman can vouch for me on this one, everything that we do for everybody. So I want to make this as simple and easy on you as possible.
That's one thing that I really like about this, is that it's pretty cut and dry. Upload a CSV, put in your message, boom.
Yeah. So some of the messages that we send out, I think John Weaver was doing a refi message. We put in, so right now I'm going to guess I probably have somewhere, I don't know, 100,000 plus AWeber in my AWeber list from my perpetual, from our break free, our funnels. And so what we do is, in a specific area, depending on what's going on, we're constantly running these campaigns for our guys. So I've got a guy in North Little Rock, Arkansas. He's been with me for about 20 years off and on. I started out with 1,700 pieces of data for him, ran them through the machine. He took 7 applications the first day we ran it, 10 applications the second day we ran it. He ended up with about 51 opt-outs over this whole campaign, and I run this for him about every 3 to 6 weeks. So I'm still working with basically 1,650 pieces of data for him. that I get to run completely. So now we're running the Christmas, the Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas campaigns for these 100,000. We're staying in front of them completely all the time. Anything that we can do, we're staying in front of our potential customer. They may not be our customer yet, but at some point in time, they're going to become our customer.
Right. Only 3% are like my buddy Mike Reese says, only 3% of the people that got in contact with you today actually want to buy from you right now.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good number. What we found in any of the guys that I've tried this with that don't have their own data, I've got them buying old data. Anything, some of these guys will go in and buy old internet data, old internet lead data, anything like that. I've got some of these guys, I'm telling them, go in there and buy every freaking VA loan in the state of California. Buy the data. I don't care if it's from 2016. Buy that data because it's good data no matter what. Let's run some campaigns to do some VA IRLs. And it's amazing. It's amazing the amount of people. One of the things that we know with Slide Dial is whenever somebody misses your call, they feel guilty about that. They reach out to you as soon as possible, and they usually apologize. Hey, I'm sorry, I must have been in a bad area. Hey, I'm sorry, I guess I don't get very good continuity in my house, whatever that may be. Anyway.
Yeah, because people are distracted.
Big time.
Plain and simple every day.
Oh, look at that. Stewman campaign.
What's it? That's something that made me some money too.
Yep, that's one of yours. But all right, I'm going to stop screen sharing.
So basically, I'll come back in here too. So basically, what happens to kind of wrap things down is they go in there, they build an account, and then they're purchasing a block of text. So I know somebody's thinking right now, well, if I spend $750 on 2,000 texts, what if I don't have 2,000? That just means that you can use 2,000 over the course of the time that you bought it till you have to re-up. So let's say you got a database of 100, you can hit that bitch 20 times before you had to re-up.
Oh, exactly. And I highly recommend it. I mean, if you look at it, there's enough holidays. If you only have 100 people, there's enough holidays that you can send, Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever that is. Just stay in front of people. Keep talking to them no matter what. I mean, I think it's, what is it, the core that tells you to call 40 real estate agents every Monday or something like that?
Yep.
What a great way for you to add, to me, this is one of those things where you're actually buying time. What is it? You can buy anything you want, but you can't buy time. I think with this thing, you can buy time because tell me the truth, Ryan Stewman. How long would it take you to call 100,000 people? And is it worth your time calling 100,000 people? Or you put 100,000 people in this machine and let it call for you, and you take the ones that want to talk to you right then.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I was thinking it would take me a long time to call 40 people. And I was thinking if I was in the core, I would just have this thing make my calls on Monday and I'd be done with a day's work in 5 minutes. And that is buying time. That's what I'm all about is efficiency. My father instilled that trait in me. My stepfather instilled that trait in me when I was growing up because the car wash is an assembly line and you have to be able to efficiently match labor to production. And so this is an efficient use of time instead of pounding the phones. And you might say, well, $750 is a lot of money. But dude, you're not having to pound the phones. You just paid $750 to buy back, 500 hours of your time.
Exactly.
An immense amount of your time that you'd spend, and if you're a cold call person, like technology like this, you send out a voicemail. When they need you, they call you back. It's that simple.
And it stays in their phone. That's the thing about it. The voicemail stays in their phone. The text message stays in their phone. The email, unless they delete it, any of these, it stays with them. So when they do have time to talk to you, it's not necessarily the fact that they don't want to talk to you. It's when they do have time to talk to you, you're there. You're the last person there. And my thing is, it's like with John Weaver, and I use him more than anybody else because not only has he been successful with it, but he doesn't work for me. He has nothing to gain from giving me, a recommendation. But John Weaver he goes out and buys data just to use this thing, because it doesn't matter. For every 1,000 pieces he puts in, he's closing 4 or 5 extra deals immediately. And it's immediately. That's one of the things that I like about it. When you put in 1,000 names, when you put in 500 names, whatever that is, you think about that. If you're doing 50 an hour, that's 10 hours worth of work. If you're sending out 50 an hour for 500 pieces that you don't have to do, that somebody else is doing for you, and you only have to take care of it when they call you back, when they actually hit yes and complete that call deal. And John will tell you in a heartbeat, this thing's worth a freaking fortune, because he doesn't have to listen to anybody complain, bitch, whine. All he has to do is take the applications when they call.
Yeah, there's something to be said for your time, and more importantly, I want to point this out, is when this thing is running and it's doing all the voicemailing and texting and emailing, it's also dealing with the negativity. One of the things that is hard for a salesperson to do is hear no, and you're a piece of shit and a scumbag, and don't call me again, and get off my list, and I didn't opt in, and I'm turning you in, and let me talk to your manager, and all those things that people say to us when we're following up in anyway. And that's what gets you down. Like Johnny was saying earlier, you get scared of getting on the phone, but really you're just like, fuck, I don't want to hear this again, right? It's emotionally draining. This not only gives you your time back, dude, the time that it does give you back, you got a good chance of still being happy with that time too. Because
mortgage guys get excited when they take an application,
Yeah.
and there's ways to make this even easier. One of the things that my guys are enacting is when they get the text message back from somebody saying, yeah, I'm ready to move forward, my guys are just sending the pre-app 1003 link and getting a pre-app 1003 filled out. They're not even having to take the application,
Yep.
and they're buying themselves more time. They're, instead of doing 50 an hour, now they can do 75 an hour, one of those kind of things.
I love it, man. Well, Johnny, I appreciate you spending this evening. I mean, obviously, you're still in the office. When you and I first started talking here, the cleaning lady was emptying the trash. So I'd be right there with you. But like I said in the beginning, my kids ran me out of there today. But I appreciate you staying after hours and giving back to everybody here and providing, honestly, in my opinion, a low-cost way for people to get back, especially for people that are real estate agents and loan officers. They send, buy one block of time from your machine, they send out one blast. And if they have, even a quarter of the results that me or Keith or any of the other AJ or any of the other people have got, then I mean, shit, one loan pays for 3 or 4 times that in most cases. So it's a hell of a deal. And it's cool too, because think about it. You go into Monday and you got to make like 100 calls. You just leave them one generic ass voicemail and let the machine do its work for you.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's one of the reasons I had to make this. A tremendous amount of our success is because of you, no matter what. So it's always automating. It's always making more robots. It's always trying to make more time. It's always trying to make something that's better for everybody. And I, above anybody else, appreciate you. Thank you. Think the world of you. You're like my kid. And anything that I can ever bring to you or any of your people, it's yours. Whatever you need, just tell me, it's yours.
We surely appreciate you, Mr. Fowler, and wish you a very Merry Christmas for you and your family. And I'll probably talk to you. Well, I will definitely talk to you next week. You'll be in my office.
Yep. I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week. I'll see everybody in the entourage next year. Thanks for hanging out this last 2017's last night school. We're going to have an awesome 2018 together. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, entourage.